Good evening, everyone. Today is Tuesday, December 15th, 2020, and tonight we're going to be talking all about the animal cell. So we've talked about eukaryotic and prokaryotics. Today we're going to dive deeper into animal cells specifically and talk all about the organelles within the cell itself. So before we get started, you guys will need your notebook. You're going to need some coloring utensils, so whether it be markers, crayons, colored pencils, anything of your choice, and then a regular writing utensil, so pen or pencil will be fine. For the lesson objectives today, you guys will be able to identify all of the organelles in animal cells and describe each of their unique functions. On the agenda tonight, you should be watching the lesson titled Animal Cell Organelles, so if you're this far, you're in the right spot. And then you're going to be replicating the drawing that I do of an animal cell on my whiteboard in your notebook on page 37. So at this point, you guys can go ahead and flip to page 37 in your notebooks and title it Animal Cell. Tomorrow, to test your guys' knowledge on everything that you recall from tonight's lesson, I will basically be giving you a worksheet with a blank animal cell, and you will be asked to label all of the different organelles and describe the various functions of each. After that, we will be doing a pretty fun activity. We're going to be using candies that I provide to build our own animal cell models, so that will be a really fun activity. Okay, so just for review, before we dive deeper into the animal cells, I do want to recall the information that we learned last week in differentiating between prokaryotic cells and eukaryotic cells. Okay, so if we recall, prokaryotic cells, they're a lot more simple compared to the complex eukaryotic cells, meaning that they don't have as many structured organelles inside of the cell. So they don't have any nucleus. The only organelles that they really have that are structured are going to be those ribosomes. Okay. Compared to eukaryotic cells, they do have a nucleus, which we'll talk a little bit more about today, and they have lots of other organelles. Okay, so recall that animal cells, the ones that we will be talking about today, belong in the eukaryotic category. So everything that we're talking about today belongs in this eukaryotic category. Okay, let me switch over to my whiteboard. Okay, so like I said, you guys are basically going to follow along in your notebooks. I want you to replicate the cell that I am drawing on my whiteboard. As a reminder, feel free to pause the video at any time so that you can keep up if I'm going a little too fast for you. All right, so we're going to start off by choosing a color, any color of your choice. We're going to basically draw the outer ring of our structure. So an animal cell tends to usually be circular. It's not perfect, which is why I'm kind of doing it a little squiggly. Okay, so there's going to be my animal cell. Oops. Okay, so our outer ring that I just drawn here is going to be our cell membrane. Okay, so I want you guys to title this structure the cell membrane. Okay, the structure of the cell membrane, basically it provides protection for the cell. So it's very similar, to our skin. Let me make it smaller. Oops. Okay. So the cell membrane, like I said, provides protection, so it's very similar to our skin. Just like our skin protects our muscles, bones, and organs, this cell membrane is going to be the outer protection for everything inside of the cell. Okay, so next we're going to then choose another color. So I'm going to go ahead, actually I'm going to save orange for another one. Okay, we're going to start off by drawing our nucleus. So our nucleus is going to be a big circular structure inside of the cell. And inside of that, I am actually going to draw some DNA because our DNA, if we recall, is inside of the nucleus. So doing some DNA strands in here. Okay, and then as I said, that is going to be our nucleus. Okay, so our nucleus basically contains all of our genetic material, or in other words, our DNA. So I always like to compare the nucleus to the brain. So the nucleus of the cell is very similar to the brain in our bodies. It basically provides the whole cell with all of the directions. So essentially like the decision maker. So that's how I like to think about the nucleus. All right, next we're going to go into the rough endoplasmic reticulum. And I do need to choose another color for that. Go with purple. And I'm just choosing different colors for each organelle to keep it organized and structured, just like you guys should. So we should be choosing different colors for each organelle. All right, so the rough endoplasmic reticulum, it's kind of a difficult structure to draw. It's kind of like a little, I always like to say it's similar to like a water slide almost. It's got a lot of loops and turns. And it kind of sits right outside of the nucleus. So the rough endoplasmic reticulum is also going to have a bunch of these dots, and I will explain exactly what these dots are in 1 second. So go ahead and draw some dots on here. This is basically the rough aspect of the endoplasmic reticulum, okay, because we're going to talk about the smooth endoplasmic reticulum as well. So the rough endoplasmic reticulum, the rough aspect comes from these dots. Oops, let me point right there. Get my text box. All right, so like I said, that is our rough endoplasmic reticulum. Okay, so the rough endoplasmic reticulum, which sits right outside of the nucleus, like I said, is going to be responsible for protein synthesis. Okay, and the reason why it's rough, it contains these structures called ribosomes. Okay, so those ribosomes are what's actually responsible for that protein synthesis. So like I said, the rough endoplasmic reticulum contains the ribosomes, which is responsible for protein synthesis. All right, our next structure, we're going to talk about the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. So it's going to look somewhat similar to the rough endoplasmic reticulum, just minus the ribosomes. You're going to draw a structure somewhat similar looking. I know I'm not an artist, so doing my best. All right. So like I said, that is going to be our smooth endoplasmic reticulum. And that's actually responsible for synthesizing lipids and steroids. Okay, so basically the smooth endoplasmic reticulum is responsible for the production of lipids and steroids. All right, so next on our list, we are going to be drawing our mitochondria. So I'm going to choose orange for that one because in science we usually use the color orange to represent our mitochondria. I'm not too sure why. That's just usually the color we use. Okay, so this mitochondria is like a kidney-shaped organelle, and most animal cells have a few of them. So I'm just going to go ahead and draw 3 mitochondria in my cell. Okay, so the mitochondria, like we call it, is the powerhouse of the cell. So what this means, powerhouse of the cell. So what this means is that it's basically the site of all ATP production. So site of all ATP production. And if we recall from one of the very first units this year, ATP is the energy currency that we use, right? So in this mitochondria, all of the energy that our cell and our body needs is going to be made in the mitochondria through a series of processes, which we'll get into in later units when we talk about cellular respiration. Okay, so again, the mitochondria is the site of production of ATP. All right, last organelle that we're going to cover today is going to be our Golgi apparatus. So the Golgi apparatus is usually near the cell membrane. And you know what? That's actually a little too big. All right. I kind of think it looks similar to the endoplasmic reticulums. It's kind of like a series of folded membranes. Like I said, right outside of, or right inside of the cell membrane. All right, so that is our Golgi apparatus. Okay, the Golgi apparatus is basically where all of the proteins are packaged and delivered. So the Golgi apparatus itself, oh, and I added an extra E there. That's just, okay. So the Golgi apparatus packages and delivers all proteins. So I usually like to think about the Golgi apparatus like the post office. Okay, men and women at the post office package everything in boxes. They send them out to where they need to go. Very similar to how the Golgi apparatus functions. So things enter the Golgi apparatus. Within here, they package them, make them into protein chains, and then send them off to their way, just as the post office would. Okay, so be sure, like I said, that you have this structure on page 37 in your guys' notebook. I will be checking it tomorrow, and then right away tomorrow morning we will get started with our 2 activities, the labeling of the animal cell, and then we will be building our models with the candy. So be sure to review this tonight so that you guys have a good understanding when we come into class tomorrow.